What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Hello, my name is Spencer Baculi. I'm the Associate Editor here at Bounding Into Comics, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of The Daily Stupid, where we cover some of the dumbest and most idiotic news happening around the world and on the internet. Today we have Lester Holt, a number of reporters who fell for Volkswagen's April Fool's prank, Eugene Gu on white supremacy, and Coca-Cola. With that being said, as always, buckle up and let's get into it. First up today, on March 30th, after being awarded the Edward R. Murrow Award for Lifetime Achievement in Journalism, NBC journalist Lester Holt declared in his acceptance speech that, quote, fairness is overrated, unquote.
The unprecedented attacks on the press in this period, I'm sure, will fill plenty of books and be studied in classrooms, maybe even here. But I have a few early observations I'll share about where this moment brings us and what we can learn. Number one is, I think it's become clearer that fairness is overrated. Well, before you run off and tweet that headline, let me explain a bit. The idea that we should always give two sides equal weight and merit does not reflect the world we find ourselves in. That the sun sets in the west is a fact. Any contrary view does not deserve our time or attention. Now, I know recent events assure that you won't have to look far to find more current and relevant examples. I think you get my point. Decisions to not give unsupported arguments equal time are not a dereliction of journalistic responsibility or some kind of agenda. In fact, it's just the opposite. Providing an open platform for misinformation, for anyone to come say whatever they want, especially when issues of public health and safety are at stake, can be quite dangerous. Our duty is to be fair to the truth. Holding those in power accountable is at the core of our function and responsibility. We need to hear our leaders' views, their policies and reasoning. It's really important, but we have to stand ready to push back and call out falsehoods.
I wish I could be surprised that a journalist who calls for the shutting out of dissenting speech would, in the same breath, claim to be, quote, fair to the truth, unquote. But honestly, I'm not. Blatant hypocrisy has become the modus operandi of the Fourth Estate. The biggest problem with Holt's assertion is one that rears itself anytime someone calls for censorious actions under the guise of public well-being. Who gets to be the judge as to what's an acceptable view or not? If you follow Holt's argument to its endgame, where only acceptable speech is given any weight, you'd end up with a society that treats anyone who steps out of line the same way the media treated Johnny Depp and pigeonholes any fact that doesn't support the ruling narrative, like the media did with Kamala Harris's statement supporting the women who accused Joe Biden of sexual misconduct.
I believe them, and I respect them being able to tell their story and having the courage to do it.
Forgot about that, didn't you? Ultimately, this is just yet another example of journalistic stupidity.
What are you, a damn idiot?
Next up, in the days leading up to April 1st, automobile manufacturer Volkswagen began to plant the seeds of an elaborate prank, hinting that after nearly 100 years, the company would be changing its name to Volkswagen. The prank was even supported by the company's employees, some of whom even informed their media contacts that, yes, the name change was real. However, after numerous media outlets ran stories reporting Volkswagen's name change, the company revealed that the entire rebrand was nothing more than an April Fool's Day prank meant to promote their upcoming line of electric vehicles. While most people found the prank to be a fun and innocent way to partake in the annual day of nonsense, journalists who fell for the prank lost their f***ing minds. As a result of being completely unable to take even the smallest L, the mainstream media began to berate Volkswagen for lying to the public. Many who couldn't handle the fact that they fell for the prank, such as USA Today business reporter Nathan Bomey, attempted to draw a comparison between the prank and Volkswagen's previous violation of the Clean Air Act, wherein the company intentionally installed defeat devices in their cars that would lie to inspectors in order to allow the cars to pass emissions tests. The Verge even felt the need to bring up Volkswagen's historical connections to the Nazis during World War II, for no other reason than to assert some sort of bizarre, unrelated moral high ground. All of this because some reporters, who have clearly proven that they are too full of themselves, could not take an innocent joke. Once again, I would like to welcome the mainstream media to the Daily Stupid. Keep this up, and you could be the reigning champion by the end of the year.
Shut up, you idiots!
Moving on, we have Twitter Dr. Eugene Gu. I know, pointing out the stupidity of Goo's regular hypocrisy and virtue signaling is an easy shot, but sometimes you see a take so dumb that you just have to add it to the Daily Stupid. If you've caught our last few Bounding live shows, or the special edition of Bounding Into Comics writer Drew Taylor's High Heresy stream, wherein Dawn and I joined to discuss the issue, you may know that the entire Stop AAPI hate campaign has been completely disingenuous from start to finish, mainly due to the media's refusal to speak honestly about the fact that many of these hate crimes have been committed by black individuals. However, it's not just the media, but also a disturbing number of blue checkmarks. One such checkmark is Dr. Eugene Gu, who took to Twitter on March 29th to, unsurprisingly, blame white people for the rise in black on Asian crime. Quote, "Black on Asian crimes only occur because of our system of white supremacy that strips African Americans of their economic opportunities while taking respect and dignity away from Asian Americans. Also, white people in power are experts at dividing and conquering to stay in power," unquote. Gu's statement is just more of that dishonesty, born out of his refusal to criticize a protected class. I mean, he's literally bringing in a third-party race in order to sanitize and excuse the crimes. Personally, I think that Gu made the statement because, like many, he cannot admit that the current dynamic between Asians and blacks runs counter to many of the tenets of critical social justice and race theory, which he has oh so willingly given himself over to. Calling Gu stupid feels like an understatement, so I think I'll let King Kai take it away.
Yes, that's it! He's a fool! He's a big, dumb, stupid fool! Just look at him!
Finally today, my personal opinion on the issue again aside, I would like to thank the changes made to Georgia's voting laws for providing us with an almost non-stop flow of stupid takes. On March 31st, Coca-Cola CEO James Quincy appeared on CNBC's Power Lunch to discuss the company's position regarding the newly passed voting laws, as the soft drink titan is one of the largest businesses within the state.
I invited you on because I was really eager to hear your response as one of the biggest companies in Georgia to the call from Ken and Ken, more than 70 black executives, to do more to directly oppose this Georgia legislation. How do you react?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, let me be crystal clear and unequivocal. This legislation is unacceptable. It is a step backwards, and it does not promote principles we have stood for in Georgia around broad access to voting, around voter convenience, about ensuring election integrity, and this is frankly just a step backwards. We've spent many decades promoting within Georgia a better society and a better environment for business, and this is a step backwards. And we're very clear on that, and our position remains the same. This legislation is wrong and needs to be remedied, and we will continue to advocate for it, both in private and now even more clearly in public.
You know, that's a really interesting position for Quincy and Coca-Cola to take, especially considering how just last November, the company actively lobbied against a bill that would have prohibited the import of goods made within China's Xinjiang region, where the country's communist government is currently inflicting numerous human rights abuses against the Uyghur people. Titled the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, Coca-Cola opposed the bill on the grounds that their facilities in the region, and thus their supply chain, would have been disrupted. Though the company claimed that their Xinjiang facilities did not benefit from the forced labor of Uyghur prisoners, the United States Congressional Executive Commission on China reported that Coca-Cola was one of the many companies whose goods were credibly, quote, suspected of being made or processed with forced labor, unquote. You know, Mr. Quincy, I bet the Uyghur people would really love the opportunity to vote as well. Like Mark Hamill last week, it seems Quincy will only advocate for, quote, a better society and a better environment for prisoners, unquote, when there's no threat to his bottom line. Quincy's statement is textbook virtue signaling, and like all such cases, it's entirely stupid.
You're totally not serious. You can't be that stupid, right?
No, he might actually be that stupid. Damn idiot!
And with that, this has been your Daily Stupid. If you have suggestions for tomorrow, leave a comment or hit us up on social media. Until then, take it easy and do your best to avoid making it on the list.